Hi everyone, Ian and Mike from Avocado Property. Obviously some big news today from the Chancellor, so no guess as to what we're going to talk about in this video. But what we wanted to kind of do was let the noise go straight away. After the announcement there was a lot of repetition of what the Chancellor had said. What we wanted to do is kind of digest things, have a little look at what the government website actually announced after the full announcement, so that we could just look at some of the facts and figures, and then maybe just have a little bit of a conversation of how we feel it might affect the economy, the industry, and show you some stats as well, what it actually means. Zoopla were great. They come straight out with a couple of nice, interesting stats, which one of them was quite baffling actually, Mike.
My favourite and probably the most positive stat that we can look at, particularly in the Woking and Bracknell area, is 89% of property purchases that complete before the end of March next year will now be totally tax-free.
It's a massive stat really. Only 11% of people across the UK in that period of time of that holiday will actually be paying stamp duty tax. One of the other ones which was quite interesting, it is a forecast, but Zoopla's forecast said that £3.8 billion could be saved from buyers now not spending money on stamp duty tax and then potentially putting it elsewhere in the economy, which for us I think is quite important. We probably see when someone moves house, instantly decorating, or kitchens or home offices seem to be a very themed topic at the moment. That money back into the economy is going to be huge, I think.
It's money that can be spent, and that's exactly what they're trying to drive at the moment, is to make the economy start moving again. And the feeling of having an additional £10,000 in your pocket after you've moved house just means you can get things done straight away.
And it's the knock-on effects. I think, if you get the decorator around, the decorator might need to buy a new van, someone potentially one day book a holiday, and it's how it ripples around the economy. But a forecast of £3.8 billion back into the economy is huge. So what actually was the holiday? What was the stamp duty holiday that was announced? Well, up to the 31st of March, so that's the window of opportunity that we've got here. And the threshold now, Mike, goes up to?
Up to £500,000, absolutely tax-free.
So where's that moved from? It was up to 125 for a normal buyer. For a non-first-time buyer would have been tax-free prior. First-time buyers up to 300k, but now up to 500k, which I guess around this area, if we used maybe a 400k analogy, what do you think that would change?
Well, if you're buying a house at £400,000 in this area, it means as a first-time buyer, £5,000 total saving, cash back in your pocket, which either, as we said, can be used for home improvements, or it can improve your deposit situation and potentially buy you a cheaper mortgage rate. For one of you who are moving home, it's an even bigger saving. It's £10,000, which is a massive effect on everybody.
And we've seen a lot of issues with 90% loan to values at the moment, 10% deposits being almost disappeared into the abyss, just HSBC and Accord the only lenders for the last few weeks offering them. But I guess £10,000 on a 400k, even at the end of the day, the math says that's 4%. And 4% could move someone from 15% to 20%. If they're at 16% loan to value, it moves them into that 15% loan to value interest rate, and it moves them into the 20% bracket, which that's a big saving potentially across mortgage lenders as well. So if you want any information or questions on that, then get in contact with us and we can put you in contact with really good mortgage advisors. We did a post on We Love Bracknell pretty much straight away just to get the public's thoughts, and there was some questions on that which we thought could answer today as well.
It's one of our favourite community groups because it's just full of engagement and constant chat. One of the big things that people were asking was what happens to those of us who are looking to buy a second property, whether it's an investment or a holiday home. Now, there will still be tax liable on that, but again, there's a saving. So the 3% additional stamp duty is still in effect. But if you're buying a house at £250,000, it reduces the tax down to £7,500, which again is a £2,500 saving, which you can push back into the economy.
And I think at the moment, with the way interest rates are and savings with the banks and things like that, property is a great place to invest, and there could be some great opportunities for landlords to go out and purchase some great buy-to-lets. We've spoken to quite a few this week that were looking forward to this announcement that we'll be back in contact with tomorrow. So at the other end of the spectrum, we spoke about 400k, but just to use an example of what it means, if someone was buying at 825, for example, over the 500k, well then prior to this announcement, they would have been spending £31,250 in stamp duty tax. Now that threshold change means they're actually saving £15,000 of that. So that drops their stamp duty down to £16,250. What happens with that and where that goes? Does that change prices? Does that go into the economy? I don't think it does change prices. I don't think it has an impact in the economy where it pushes prices up. What they've done is to try and stabilise the market. And I think with a little bit of logic, it means that vendors can now potentially attract a buyer they couldn't attract before. So hopefully it means more house sales and a more stable economy, a more stable property market. But it's exciting for us. The phone rang a little bit straight afterwards for us, didn't
Yeah,
it?
we've had a busy afternoon. I think all in all, the entire announcement was incredibly positive for the UK, providing real insurance for the recovery, and particularly for us in the residential property sector and the hospitality sector with cutting VAT, cheapened eating out vouchers. Everything that goes across the board is an encouragement for people to go out and spend their hard-earned cash.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're looking to sell, or if you're a landlord now looking to buy, or maybe move the management property that you've got to a more hands-on agent like us, where it's a bit more bespoke, we're a landlord ourselves, both of us, so we can always help on that front. Or if you're a buyer and you've got questions, maybe it's in the pipeline at the moment, maybe you're thinking of different opportunities of other properties you could potentially buy now, just get in contact with us. We're always happy to help with some free advice. Thanks for watching the video, and we will speak to you again soon.